One of the more frustrating parts for, I think, injured and disabled Americans when they're dealing with Social Security is how can they prove that they're disabled? And unfortunately, it's a lot more complicated. Sometimes I even have folks say, well, a doctor said that I can't work anymore. Game over, I win, right? The answer is listen, if you're disabled and trying to get Social Security disability, then you're about to start a long and confusing process, and Social Security is going to consider medical records and doctors' opinions about whether you can work. Oftentimes, folks will say, well, here's a letter from my doctor, and he or she says I can't work. That should be good enough, right? And the answer is no, it's not, unfortunately. And I'm going to talk about why. So when you are disabled, according to Social Security, that means you have what's called a medically determinable impairment. Basically, that means you've got a diagnosis. You've got a medical issue, could be physical or mental, or it could be both, that doctors have identified and treated, and there is a known diagnosis for it. You can't just say, I've got pain in my knee hurts, therefore I'm disabled. Social Security is not going to accept that. They're going to want to see that the doctor has treated you, evaluated you, given you a diagnosis. Now, sometimes my clients will say, well, I've got a disability letter. I've got a disability letter. The doctor says I can't work. And I'm saying that's not helpful. Now, it's helpful to me because I know now something is serious going on, but it doesn't necessarily end what I need to show an administrative law judge in Social Security. And why is that? Listen, your doctor is great and has experience and is educated to give me an opinion about what your diagnosis is, what your prognosis is, what medical care do you need. Your doctor can even tell me, for example, how long you can sit, how long you can stand, how long you can walk, how much you can lift, push, pull, how often can you bend, how often can you work overhead, reach forward in your hands, etc. Perfectly fine. Doctors know that stuff. But what the doctor can't know is whether you are capable of working within those restrictions. Why not? Because that decision requires a whole other level of knowledge. It requires somebody who knows what kind of jobs there are out there in the world, what are those physical requirements for all those jobs, what are the mental requirements for all those jobs, what are the background, experience, educational backgrounds necessary to do those jobs. Has your doctor gone through that training? Has your doctor looked at all the jobs that are out there in the economy? Have they looked and interviewed employers about what kinds of disabilities they're able to accommodate or not? Answer, no. They aren't. And that's why your doctor can't give an opinion that a judge will respect in Social Security disability that you can't work. That goes beyond their expertise. What a doctor can say is what you can do, how often you can do it, how much you can lift, push, pull, sit, stand, stay awake, have concentration, whether or not you're going to need breaks or any of that. But it's up to somebody called a vocational expert who's going to say, okay, now when I take those restrictions and I combine it with other stuff about the claimant and I compare it to the demands for all the jobs that are out there, there are no jobs, or there's certainly nothing that they could do and make more than what's called substantial gainful activity, i.e. $1,470 a month, and therefore they're disabled. That's what a vocational expert does. So that's an opinion that your vocational expert needs to make, but not your doctor. And that's why, while it's helpful, it tells me there's something there, but merely having a doctor say you can't work just isn't enough. Listen, if you or someone that you know, love, is needing help with Social Security, please have them call us, text us, write us. I'll put all the information here. We'd be happy to help. We offer free consultations. And remember, we don't charge unless we are successful. That's called a contingent fee. And with that, thanks for spending part of your day with me. Bye.